Why is a walrus worth $15,000, considered the winter lifeline of an entire town? In a place where a bottle of milk costs $18 and a frozen pizza is 3 times more expensive than gasoline, a nearly ton walrus can feed an entire community. Hidden beneath its thick blubber and sharp tusks is the story of a centuries-old survival tradition, where humans and nature depend on each other to continue existing in the coldest regions of the planet. Let's explore the walrus hunting process and why the Inuits still maintain this ritual today. An adult walrus weighing nearly 900 kg can provide enough meat and blubber to feed 30 people for weeks, worth up to $15,000, but more importantly, it preserves culture, customs, and community cohesion in one of the harshest environments on the planet. Walruses live in large herds on sea ice with thick layers of blubber, sharp tusks, and sensitive whiskers for finding mollusks in the mud. In the Arctic ecosystem, they are a vital link and a food source for polar bears and killer whales. For the Inuit, the tradition of hunting walruses spans generations, bringing back meat, blubber, oil, hides, and ivory, things that help them survive the months-long nights. The hunt begins with sharpening spears, checking ropes, maintaining boats and traditional hunting tools. Everything must be perfect because there are no supermarkets or shops. Life depends entirely on the success of the hunt. When everything is ready, the hunters embark on their arduous journey across the icy sea. Snowmobiles towing small motorboats glide across the white surface, gradually making their way into the frigid waters where darkness and mist merge. In the pale light of the Arctic dawn, they move silently like shadows, while in the distance, their families watch from the shore, waiting for their safe return and their spoils. Each hunting team works together like a refined machine honed over generations. The Inuit call this tradition ikuk, the art of walrus hunting. The first secret is being able to read the language of the ice. The perfectly round breathing holes on the frozen sea surface, the smooth skid marks of the walrus's body, or the fine cracks left on the ice by their surfacing to breathe. Once the walrus herd is located, all slow movements immediately give way to absolute precision. The ideal approach distance is only 30 to 50 meters, close enough to ensure accuracy, but far enough to avoid alerting the walruses. Just the sound of an engine, a puff of smoke, or a slight tremor in the ice, and the entire herd will dive deep into the sea for nearly 20 minutes, disappearing completely from sight. Therefore, patience is always the Inuit's most powerful weapon. When the walrus surfaces again, that moment becomes a test of absolute concentration. The lead shooter must fire swiftly, ensuring the animal is rendered unconscious in an instant, according to modern humane hunting standards. But walruses are not easily subdued. Their thick, 10-centimetre layer of fat and rock-hard skull mean the first shot is sometimes insufficient. At that point, a special harpoon with a float, an avat, is thrown. The float, crafted from seal skin or animal hide, marks the walrus's location and prevents it from sinking into the dark sea. The entire team must coordinate perfectly because one wrong pull, one sudden shift of the ice flow, and the hunter could lose a finger, or even their life. And then victory appeared like a miracle when the giant walrus was pulled aboard the boat. When the hunting party returned, the entire community awaited them with eager eyes and quiet pride. But the journey had only just begun, for on the ice, the real work awaited. The hunters begin butchering the meat with an ulu, a traditional curved knife, along with sharp steel blades and a handsaw. They cut through the thick skin, separating the hot, succulent meat from the bone. Each cut must be absolutely precise because beneath the thick layer of fat lies meat worth up to $15,000, 0 cents. The work can last for hours, even days, in the biting cold wind and early setting sun. The finest cuts of meat went to the elders and seasoned hunters, the keepers of the community's knowledge. Women took their portions home to prepare meals, process the fat, and make clothing from walrus hides. Children and the elderly received smaller portions, but still enough nutrition to survive the harsh winter. Not a single piece was wasted. The meat became food, the fat oiled it, the hides were used for clothing and boats, and the ivory became bartering items or carved into works of art that told the story of their ancestors. Following the ritual of dividing the meat is the preservation process. In the Arctic, nature itself is a giant freezer. Meat is wrapped in hides, buried deep under the snow, or stored in natural ice reserves. Another portion is thinly sliced, dried, or fermented to make mikigak, a high-energy food that can be preserved for months. Walrus fat is slowly heated to extract the oil, the fuel that once lit every snow hut and was the soul of the kulik, the traditional Inuit stone lamp. Walruses are more than just food. They represent the life, culture, and traditions of an entire people. Each hunt not only brings in food, but also protects the sacred connection between humans and nature, allowing this tradition to continue through generations in the coldest region of the planet. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to continue discovering more unique stories.